XRP could be one of the biggest opportunities in crypto right now. There's some major news showing why there is people backing XRP and why it could be one of the biggest opportunities of our lifetime. Leave a comment if you believe XRP could be the strongest crypto in 2025. Smash the like, subscribe. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into the video. The first piece of information, the major news for XRP that I want to cover that's really coming up in this next 1 to 2 weeks, some absolutely major news. So the first piece of information is going to be this Federal Reserve interest rate cut coming up in basically 1 week's time. The reason that that's so important and also important for XRP is because a reduction in interest rates means that interest rate money is cheaper, which means borrowing money and betting on XRP becomes cheaper across the board. So we see assets like XRP actually begin to rise. The next major piece of information is the spot XRP ETF approvals that are set to come out extremely shortly. Between the 18th and 25th, it's basically the deadline to say, are we going to get an ETF? And there's a high probability that XRP ETF will be approved, giving a major boost in the price. And I'll give you a bit of a price prediction for XRP a little bit later on in the video. Let's first cover all of this major news. Then we have the Ripple banking license decision. As we've seen, stablecoins, major corporations, BlackRock, and all those type of companies, institutions are now finally stepping into crypto. So if Ripple is able to get that banking license, they would be able to partner with some of the biggest sophisticated investors out there, some of the biggest institutions. Then we do have some news to come out in late October, early November, and also later on in November. But really, this ETF, Federal Reserve interest rate cut, and the Ripple banking decision is the major news for XRP. The next thing we see, major news for XRP, is the S&P Cryptocurrency Market Index. So overall, we're going to get the top 10 cryptos within an ETF that will be able to be traded simply on the stock exchange and by weight. So within the ETF, they're going to be buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and by weight, they're going to be buying the most amount of Bitcoin. Then second, they're going to be buying the most amount of Ethereum. And the third biggest purchase is going to be XRP. It actually outweighs here Binance Coin, the Solana token. So showing by weight, that's going to drive some major demand. So as people are purchasing this ETF, more and more demand will then flow into XRP as it is the third asset by index weight. Next on the news, we've also got some major connection with BlackRock. We're here, we've got Securitize and Ripple bringing crypto to mainstream. And this also ties in with this initial announcement where we're looking for Ripple for that banking decision. And it obviously looks very likely, especially when we're seeing some top institutions now partnering with Ripple. BlackRock, VanEck announced plans to tokenize market funds through Securitize, and with Securitize now partnering with Ripple. So BlackRock and VanEck are going to be using basically Ripple to bring tokenized money market funds. So again, it's just major demand because bringing crypto to the sophisticated investors, bringing it to the major institutions is where the huge money is. Obviously, retail demand is very, very important for XRP, but if we're going to see that major skyrocket, institutions and banking really need to back the overall XRP and Ripple system. Next, I want to move into a bit of a price prediction and actually go over the current price and where I do expect it to go. Currently on the weekly chart, which is my favorite for looking at a major long-term continuation trend, the first thing I'm always looking at is the direction of the slope of this orange line, the 20 EMA. Right now, in my opinion, could be one of the most perfect times for Ripple that there's ever been, because we're right now retesting the exponential moving average, which when we are in an uptrend and we have a positive slope, my favorite place to be buying is when we come back and retest the EMA. So right now is literally the most perfect time because we're literally 0.5% away from the weekly EMA. Not only that, the last all-time high that happened here around that $3 range, it was acting as major resistance. Like here, we came up to $3, then we had a strong push, actually more than 50% down. Then we did the same thing, a small little push, then we had a major more than 50% push down. The same thing happened again at $3, another 50% push down. So what it's showing me in this market is this major $3 area and just below was acting as a huge resistance in the market until right here we got another major push to all-time highs. And when we get that next major push to all-time highs, this last initial resistance, it will flip to a support. So now what we're seeing is support, 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 also bouncing off the 20 EMA, also supporting off of this old resistance. So this is really giving me a major confluence level to say I'm looking for a huge long trade to the upside for XRP. Now, you might be saying, okay, what type of numbers could I be looking for? My real favorite, just to get a base, especially off of this last move, we use the Fibonacci retracement on this left-hand side. Then what I'll do is I'll come to the bottom of this move. I'll then come to the first major all-time high at this around $3.40 range. And then I'll drag it all the way across. I'm just dragging it across so I can then see right here the golden zone where I'm always looking for entries. But really the exit point is actually showing XRP around that $5 range. So that's even more, nearly 100% gain to this 10618, which is really the first major target for XRP during this bull run. So what I'm expecting is at least 100% gain, retest, or actually push to this $5 zone. We could see a small resistance. And then again, what I could expect to happen is these old resistances will then get broken through, act as support, price could come up, could get a small retracement. That's then a re-entry position. And then we look for, again, another push to all-time highs. So I'm definitely very interested in XRP. It looks like it's going to be one of the major opportunities coming into Q4 of 2025. Just showed all this interesting information about the ETF coming out, which is, again, and timing-wise, it's sort of perfect because we have that springboard to the upside, retesting these old all-time highs. So my opinion, one of the perfect setups, and really, really easy to set up a risk to reward on this trade as well, because we would just put our stop loss in the last swing low. So we wouldn't even really have to risk that much, especially when we compare it to other altcoins or other meme coins and those type of crypto assets. So if you have enjoyed today's video on XRP, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe because I'll be making continuous updates in XRP. Leave a comment for what your price prediction for XRP will be during this bull run, and I'll see you in the next video.